مو مرة لما ألعب دولست مو رولي طيب، لأني أنا أفكر وأنا ألعب، مو معناته اللي يلعب دولست ما يفكر، لا أنا أقصد إني أنا قاعد أقرأ اللعب. إذا كنت دولست ما أقدر أقرأ اللعب، يعني ما أقدر أحلل اللعب صح، وهذا شيء طبيعي لأني ما أشوف إيش قاعد يصير ورا. لكن لما تكون ورا وتشوف إيش سبب الخسارة، تشوف اليوت اللي قدامك يرمي، تعرف تقدر تحلل إيش سبب الخسارة الراوند، فعالج الموضوع. لكن لما أكون دولست ألعب دولست بس أمل بسرعة من الدولست، لأني أحس بتكرار، ادخل اذبح موت، ادخل اذبح موت، ادخل اذبح عيش، ادخل اذبح عيش، ادخل. ولكن الرولات الثانية اخذ الموضوع. لا يا شيخ مو بصحيح، افرض انك دخلت سايت وما مت وتيمك مات، شلون تعرف شلون تيمك مات وانت عايش؟ تسألهم صح؟ تسمع منهم، فرق لما تشوف. لا تقنعني، انتهى الموضوع. والله ماني قاعد اقولها هياط ولا شيء، لا اقول لك صادق. انا رول الدولست ما هو رول اي جي ال، وانا ستايلي اي جي ال. سنتينل اوكي، كنترولر اوكي، انيشيتر اوكي، كل الرولات اوكي، يمكن انهم يكونون اي جي ال اوكي، افضلهم كنترولر اللي هو سموك، ولكن الدولست ما يصلح تكون اي جي ال. انا العب، انا ستايل اي جي ال، يعني اقرا اللعب، اعطي بلانات، نكاونتر البلاي، ايش نسوي ذا الحين، ايش نسوي بعدين، ايش. فلما العب دولست ما يجي ذا الشيء، بس كنت لعب دولست يعني كثير لعب دولست، بس مو مثل الناس اللي تتابعهم انت الثانيين مثلا، مو انه يعني مثلا تمسك معي مثلا في الاسبوع تلقاني لعبت جيمين دولست مثلا لو العب اسبوع متواصل اقصد، لان الدولست ايم، مو بس الدولست ايم، لا ما كل الرولات تحتاج ايم، كل الرولات مو بس الدولست، كل الرولات اغلبها تحتاج ايم. ما في فالورانت باختصار تحتاج ايم، هذا شيء خالص منه، بس قبل الايم ايش انت محتاج؟ هنا السؤال. يعني في امور انت لو غطيتها في ذا الرول يكون امباكتك عالي في الجيم، اوكي؟ زي السنتينل، كيف يتمركز، كيف يستب، تمام، بعدين يفكر في الايم. لكن سنتينل ما يعرف يتمركز ولا يعرف يستب ويركز على الايم، ممكن ينكب تيمه اكثر. بتقول لي شلون؟ بقول لك يمكن يبغتونه باللي ضده باليوتل، هو ايمه كويس، ذبح واحد ومات، بس انت سنتينل المفروض انك تسوي لك داون ليه ما احنا نجي، بدل انك تواجه وتأيم، بس تذبح واحد تعيش، اوكي انت كذا فنان، فتعتمد على السيت اب اللي عندك، فهمت؟ زي السموك، ايمه حلو بس قاعد يواجه يبيك مد، طب شلون نلعب ريتيك؟ فهمت؟ الايم شيء خالص منه، كتاب وطوينه. كل الرولات تحتاج رول، في رولات تحتاج انك تكون مأيم اكثر، صح؟ يكون عندك ردة فعل اسرع، يكون عندك فليك، يكون عندك امور كثير. رولك يحتاج انك تكون مصحصح من ناحيه الايم، ما تركز على الميني ماب كثير. هذه الرولات رولين اللي هم رول اكثرها يحتاجون ذا الشيء، رول اللهم صل على محمد، الدولست والسنتينل، او اللي يلرك باختصار يحتاج يكون مأيم. هذا هم رولين يعني اعتمادهم عليهم مهم جدا، لانك انت لما تلرك تحتاج يكون ايمك ممتاز عشان لركك ما يروح عبث، يعني ما انت مع التيم وتاخذ 1v1 وتخسر خساره. هذا واحد. الدولست نفس الكلام، في الديفنت الدولست اعتماد على الايم مهم، مو في الاتاك. في الاتاك اوكي، بس انه بيتقروش في الاتاك لما يدخل سايت، مهمته في الاتاك انه يعطي سبيس، اذا عاش وجاه يوتل هنا يبدا يعتمد على ايمه، لكن احيانا يدخل يموت، فالتريد يجي من اللي وراه. فهمت علي؟ وضحت الامور. بس كلامي هذا كله انا عارف شكله راح في الهواء. خلنا نسمع ذا ايش يقول. خلاص ارجع الجيم الحين، التعليقات بدأت تضغطني شوي. ايه في الرانك عادي مو مهم، في الرانك الكلام هذا، في اللو رانك والميد رانك الكلام اللي انا قاعد اقوله مو مهم، الكلام هذا يتطبق في الهاي رانك على حسب اللي بيتبع ذا اسلوب ولا لا. ما في الكلام اللي انا قاعد اقوله هذا يتسوى في الفايف ستاك، يتسوى اذا دخلت جيم والكل يتكلم معك ويسمع لك وعندك مايك. مو كل جيم انا اضرب اي جي ال ويمشي، مو الكل عنده مايك، مو الكل يسمع الكلام. الدب هذا حط عليها مال. طيب الماب ايسنت، واتوقع من اختيار فناتك ما يحتاج يلعبون سيج بعد البف، يعني فيها اكثر من ستايل. سيج فايس سوفا اومن يورو، اوكي RRQ يلعبون يورو. دبن شيتر متى معروف، بس تيهو توقعت كيو. يلا بشوف الراوند الاول، انا بسرعه بقفل التصويت عشان بروح اصلي المغرب.
Defensive ideas from RRQ and the pistol firing squad in mid, waiting for that spot.
اقفل التصويت. لا ما يحتاج يا عيال. طيب خلينا نشوف الحين. معليش خلاص حقكم علي، انا اسف.
A lot of this is posturing from the defensive side. They're trying to make a favorable engagement happen, find something when the reveal pops off, but Fnatic are quick to deny it. Again, it's back to covering their bases.
We know Fnatic are renowned for this slow
ما
style.
بفنتك. لا يقولون مو فنتك. اقول لك تقول لا مو فنتك. لا مو ما بفنتك، ما بRRQ. الشات قالها خلاص، انا اصدق الشات لو هو حتى لو انهم غلطانين.
They are walking into a stack up. 3 players on this side of the map. They're slowed as well by that smoke being into position.
خلاص بطلوها ترى.
Doesn't look like he's going to use that wall.
ترى انا عارف انهم بطلوها، للحين باقي بيستعملونها. اوكي وجاب كل. كلين. Old, but still gold.
Yeah, this is going to be tough to break back in. That double entry is huge, but Althea still on the wall, has been caught out. Chronicle in a fairly open position, but will just opt to fall back. Utility not really available for that attack, but a singular paranoia for Munya.
لا الصوت لو نقصته بيقولون الشباب الصوت ضعيف، كذا ممتاز.
There's the shot from Jemkin though. Crashies, who is desperately low, is down, and it's the 2 players in Boathouse who have to pull this off. Chronicle with a pistol in hand. It might not be the classic, his signature weapon. He will find the kills nonetheless and put Fnatic 1-0 up.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the players I want to keep an eye on, because even when they were in poorer form, you did start to see Chronicle coming back to that championship level.
التصويت اللي ما صوت معك
عشان if they are going to be a contender in this tournament, he needs to be on. He is that player that I feel like desires to win more than any other. And a solid start for him in the pistol round. Already seeing an idea or two, but I'll be honest, that idea at least I've been seeing since 2020.
Obviously, we had some slower weeks from Chronicle over in EMEA as well, but he certainly found his form towards the end of the season. But that was something Uber was saying, you know, across the board, it's felt like regular season stage 2 has been that little bit of a drop-off for Fnatic. But this is their chance to put their best foot forward in terms of opening matchups in Champions. They've only lost a 1. It was their second appearance. Obviously, they've been to every single champs. It was back against 100 Thieves. Other than that, this team is usually undefeated in the early stages. In this round, they certainly should be getting away with it fairly clean. 2 pistols, so a big margin for error, and only classics that they're up against.
Fairly hefty rotation, but they're not actually within the site trying to use the smoke to cross over, but it's something that Fnatic are well aware of. And well, blink and you miss it. Chronicle already up to his 3rd kill of the round, just 3 away from finding his ultimate already. And they're also farming up a lot of the orbs onto Althea, wanting to make sure that that res is going to be available as much as humanly possible for Crazy Guy. Well, you either want to try and do damage or ideally die to the spike. That's not happening.
No, they're trying to buy time for Alpha to come back and grab that kill, but Crashies, his hand was forced in the end. They come in with 2 pistols, they leave with them as well. A flawless round from Fnatic, big money builder early on. You look at RRQ, it's not a round that they should have had much contest in, and they very nearly dropped Chronicle. I don't think it's the end of the world, but this next one, this is going to be telling. We need to see them get off to a flying start, do some damage, win the round for sure. As, you know, in terms of the ascent, the last time these 2 teams faced, it was pretty convincing in Fnatic's favor.
The other thing as well, I think more Integra, is actually their last match when they played versus Paperex. They had a 1-11 attack. So this defense has to be solid, because whenever they've done even reasonably well on this map, it has been a defensive-sided half that has done it for RRQ. So that'll be the focus. And this is where they now have the weaponry to play with. Chronicle, even after a pretty stellar early start to this game, he's going to be left down to just a stinger. And Jemkin, well, he's going to be able to escape and have his teammate double up onto Althea. A great start for this round.
Yeah, not bad at all. Exactly what we needed to see. Fnatic being put in their place early on with that advantage that RRQ are bringing to bear. And as you said, with the defensive side expectations we had. Rifles are left though. 3 of them with an upgrade that's being brought through. They can from it. Corpse, they'll move towards this A site, but plenty of numbers here for RRQ. Full utility online towards this side, and 40 seconds on the clock. Time to make a decision, and it looks like they might be making the right read.
The thing is, that was their own thorns. It felt like Crashies wanted to push forward.
30 seconds left.
But his own team's thorns have blocked him out from doing so. Fnatic like to run the clock low, but I wonder if this is just turning into a save. 20 seconds left on the clock, the spike pushing forward, but everybody else still with so much space to take. Boaster down.
15.
And yeah, this has to be a save now, but it still seemed like, at least up until Boaster went down, they were still challenging for this round. RRQ with a chance to keep this one nice and clean, and the only thing is, because it's their first round victory, I don't expect them to hunt too much for these remaining guns.
Yeah, no, it's definitely worthwhile just hanging on to what they've got. Even that one Guardian they've now got left with the upgrade for Crazy Guy. Cushy will just carry it forward. Hey, listen, that is a godsend of a round for RRQ. Great early fights, already showing dominance over that mid control, and the patience on display late. That's what Fnatic were trying to force out of them, was a little bit of an overextension. Someone playing too aggro, someone giving the chance for this squad to find a weakness, find a site to push into, but it wasn't given away. The discipline on display gives us a 2-1 scoreline. The full buy back in for Fnatic, ult's close to being online.
That was just a bonus, so even the couple of guns saved and a little bit extra is going to put them into a good position. Rez already online, so they can now be a little bit riskier. Saying that, the shock dart that's been sent through early from Cushy has done a lot of damage. I imagine the heal has already been administered, so Chronicle will at least be back to 100. Again, ground to a halt. This defensive setup is incredibly passive. They're not trying to give any of those openers on the other side, and because of that, with somewhat a lack of initiation at times, Fnatic are just having to contact into this one.
Straight through the side for utility, they will go. That's the problem, a lot of reactive util in play for RRQ. The salvo coming in from Crazy Guy still has one left to play with. Reveal comes in, the spams can now fire right back through. Very oppressive in terms of the util, the positions that RRQ are playing in as well. It's making it a bit of a headache for Fnatic. And with that extra time bought, rotation through from Jemkin, mid fully secured, and Fnatic are going to go for this late control. Alpha here wants to push deep into the spawn. He's got a guy on the rotate, trying to cut it off, and he'll grab one. That's the res online, but Crashy's double, and Boaster clearing out the rest of the site. What was a very labored round in terms of the time being bled out of Fnatic's clock has ended up being a huge success for them.
Yeah, no, just their entries into that B site were sublime. 2 players at the back of the site being picked off in rapid succession alongside the rotations being cut off. I was a little bit nervous because you have Alpha with the res, and then he's taking a solo fight alone on the other side of the map, but it's clear that the other players are ones with utility. They're actually going to be able to put you into place, so you can't really afford to leave anyone else behind. For Munya, there's not really much of a choice. Just try and hold on to the gun. They managed to keep all 5 players alive in the previous round, so there's definitely going to be a purchase up for RRQ, but it's one where you kind of watch this round and go, it's difficult to say what they could really change, because they had their players in the right place at the right time. It just seemed like they lost every single fight.
Well, that's it, right? Obviously, we're on board with Alpha for this cross kill, but it's on the site when Crashies is able to find a double in quick succession. Those players on Boathouse trying to trade out while Boaster lurks in the smoke.
Very good discipline right there. I love to see
They had the rotates. They had Jemkin close by to support the site. They had the smoke to cover their cross in, or so they thought, but weren't expecting Boaster to be there. And well, that's a very early upset for RRQ, but the reality is they still have the money. Jemkin's come in, operator in hand. This is the benefit from having such a clean previous round, but that position from Boaster, it's sneaky. If Jemkin steps back out, if Cushy tries to cross the market, they could be caught off here.
Now has the idea that there's a player in position.
Here.
Jemkin Crash is about to run out, but just at the last second he's able to catch that kill. Boaster not being able to spot the player further, but that will be an immediate retrieval. Wonderful usage of the salvos, though. That would be the pickoff of Kayak for the 2nd time this round. His KD taking a beating. And so are Fnatic in the early stages. They need a response, and well, Jemkin's operator has just been a game changer.
Spike down.
From an almost clean round for Fnatic. It's looking like we might get one in response.
Yeah, I love this from RRQ. The salvos there onto the res, just perfect, and again, highlighting the benefit of having this Teho in. It's a difficult agent to use right now, but we've started to see some teams making that adaptation. And we saw it in the previous round in terms of slowing down the push. Ultimately, when the push came in, they lost all of their fights, but the stoppage ability is huge. The situational, like right there, massive. Pushing that player that was rezzed out of position, giving Jemkin every opportunity to pick off players. Like you said, I think that highlight has very much been the operator. So it's not just the utility in play, the weaponry too. The way they're controlling this map, very nice. And I'm curious to see what Fnatic's adaptation will be, because after that previous round victory, they've still got money. They'll be able to invest here. And I think it will just be this back and forth with these clean rounds being traded, if that continues, until we finally see someone's economy being broken.
Well, it feels like we're playing the slowest game of all time right now.
Fnatic attack side on ascent. Yes.
We've also just had like late round saves each time, so it's been like almost a burst of an explosive fight, but even trying to use the heal. And actually, Alfia goes down because he's trying to use the heal while running away. Like, that is so unfortunate, but also just wonderfully placed utility for the side of RRQ. They're definitely a squad that seem to be improving day by day, game by game. Showed massive resilience in their victory to get into that top two. Well, those first few rounds definitely haven't phased them.
A flash, nicely done. Jemkin not able to hit the shot on the jumping Kayak. And it will be a 5 versus 4 with the big player of the previous round, the big weapon of the operator down. They try to delay with the salvos, but Kayak's already through. Crashed through the gates on the B side.
يا أخي العنوان ما تغير.
For Fnatic, a plant now secured. A 5 versus 3. RRQ, well, we talked about the slow round. This was a bit more direct, but we might still get that late round save.
Well, I also think it was Boaster's paranoia that must have just been perfectly placed, because I think that was just an immediate gate crash into the site for Kayak, and it looks almost silly that he's able to get that kill for free. Breaking back into this, though, it was mentioned, it's not going to be easy. You're facing off against that Vice in tandem with Sage, and well, that's before you even talk about some of the individual brilliance currently in the server.
Vice وسيج يلعن ام القرف.
Both sides winning a lot of their rounds incredibly cleanly, and this time that pace change from Fnatic, and more importantly, catching out of Jemkin, has turned this completely in the other direction. At least, though, Crazy Guy's going to make it a little bit more costly, but let's be real, it's not going to do too much in terms of the economy.
Yeah, I liked what Boaster was doing there. Alpha was a little bit ahead of it, though. Initially, you see him clearing out main, looking for players in the corner, but ends up being at least a dent in that economy. There's your paranoia going through, and the full blinded Cypher on the side of Xfero. Not much to say about that. 4-2. But like we said, it's been clean rounds, been a couple of saves at a time. RRQ still able to buy out. We got to be getting close to a record here so far in the tournament for the most back-to-back buy rounds for both teams. I
want to see how good these teams are with Stinger. That's been the gun of the tournament, I feel, so far, but not in this game.
4-2 من Fnatic.
That was on Chronicle. Nonetheless, he's now got an operator of his own. Clearly expecting that aggression to come in. Early TP just to try and clear out Switch. The run in. Kayak's already gone down. Smoke going to be thrown back out to try and delay them that little bit further, but it feels like now Fnatic are a little bit more committed. Boaster has made that move eventually.
طيب ليه سكبته؟
They're still just trying to get through this choke point.
سكب اوكي. ديكوي.
Getting out of here is going to be difficult.
هلا وادو.
Alfia's got a long wait before that heal is going to be available. In fact, we'll be down to the last 15 seconds of the round if that happens. And obviously for Chronicle with the operator, all he can really hope to do is hold the cross.
And there could even be a world here where they're going to group up, swap that op into Alfia's hands. Yeah, there we go. It's the right play. Give him at least a chance to trade bullet for bullet. They have got the B site wide open. RRQ. They've shown us a lot of patience on the defensive side. This time, it may be their downfall is that they will give the plant away. 12 seconds.
With dimensional drift online, though, I'm not worried. Like, you could just throw that in just to
سايفر
confirm
ودك
this
تفتح
round.
كامك.
I think clearing out all of the risky
بعدين
angles
بيفتحها.
will just make this so much easier. And playing this as a 4 versus 2 retake, I think the gamble would be is if you left it down to a 1v1 on the site. They're not going to allow that to happen. Chronicle, though, this is what I'm talking about. He's going to try and get aggressive, try and be surprising. They already know where he is. That surprise factor is gone.
Alpha, though, still manages to land a shot. They know where Chronicle is. That was the problem. It's down to the low HP player. He's healed himself slightly. He'll survive a shot, but not to the head. Cushy puts him in the ground, and RRQ convert 3 to 4 now. And Fnatic being wiped out, but guess what? They still got credits.
Yeah, of course they do. All of these rounds have been fairly clean. In fact, this is one of the first ones that hasn't for the side of RRQ, but this is sort of the issue I'm talking about. Like, a lot of the time you're going to see double or in some cases even triple initiator on this map. It allows you to get through those choke points a little bit easier. Some teams that change it up by running a double duelist. Maybe you see the Jet alongside the Yoru so that you can get that little bit of extra space. In Fnatic's round, what they're doing is, well, this one at least, placing the wall down and try and get through the choke, but the choke is the same. You're still going
اطرافي
through that
ثلجت والله ما ادري ايش قاعد جان.
and a couple of TPs.
انا والله مركز في الجيم ما ادري ايش قاعدين تقولون في الشات والله. معليش ابغى اركز شوي يا عيال الجيم بالنسبه لي مهم حماس.
On the attack side of this map, already said defense normally better.
اوكي حلوه اوه تقد واحد ولا اثنين.
Not as impactful when they have a Sage though.
Yeah, not so much. At least it will be the shield stripped away. A small benefit. And look at this. For RRQ, they've been playing so heavy on one side of the map, and it makes sense when it's towards A and your Cyphers left to hold the other side. In the last round, they had 5 players on the A site when Fnatic were pushing through. This time it's 3 towards it, 1 of Jamkim close enough, and the ultimate set off. This will isolate Kayak inside of main, but there's no one to play on the back of it. That does feel like a little bit of a throwaway from Crazy Guy. The res is still online.
بيسيفون.
I guess the expectation was that maybe somebody was a little bit deeper. They are wary of those salvos. That's what it is. They're using the res here. They're just expecting the salvos to just remove anybody else who's left. Shock dart over the top. Same wall. Getting ready to go. But they should be aware of this. Jemkim also holding the line into middle. Fnatic starting to fall flat once again. It's only really Alfia who's done anything. And well, Kayak now with 14 seconds, 4 players to find. And guess what? RRQ are not going to be peeking.
يا اخي كذا لعبهم غث يا ولد يقعد على اخر ثانيه بعدين يسوي اكسكيوت سايت. طب خذ.
For Fnatic it feels like feast or famine.
Very much so. I mean in this round you see
مرة سلو مرة سلو. هو فعال يغث يعني في البدايات ممكن تصبر بس بعدين تنغث. صراحة ما توقعت اشوفته في البطولة كليا. هو كويس بوست بلانت صراحة. درونه كويس. بس مشكلته مثل سكاي ما يطول. عشان كذا تحتاج نسيتر ثاني معه.
Round 9 kicking off. A lot of weaknesses for Fnatic. See if they can turn those into advantages. It's unlikely, and with Jamkin having so much impact so far, since this operator's been picked up, he'll be a big piece of the puzzle to figure out when it comes to the next round.
Portal closed.
Maybe finding some information here will help them out. Slow start, as expected, but leaning towards the B site, which is much more open.
I wonder if this is down to the Steel Garden. One way to level the playing field would be to use that ultimate, remove the weaponry. So if you sit out of the site, fairly easy to step back. It's a slow ult to activate. And then you don't lose any of your weaponry. You can run back in on the retake. And you can see all of this utility being expended, set up to try and make things that little bit more awkward. Well, there's absolutely nobody here.
Yeah, won't be the Steel Garden used, but instead the gate crash alongside Paranoia to clear that backside beat. We've already seen the impact from Kayak, but so passive are RRQ. They tried to disrupt the plant. They won't find it. Chronicle lands a double poster on the frenzy. Hold on.
والله winnable.
Very winnable.
Forfeit. ها؟
All of a sudden, the next Pharaoh falls quickly.
يا أخي عجيبين دول الفناتك.
Catches him looking the other way from the stairs.
لعبوها
The MasterCard thrifty.
بشكل.
I really thought this was going to be RRQ taking the lead, Tom.
Yeah, the one thing I was nervous about was once Fnatic actually took the site, I was like, okay, now that Steel Garden is actually really impactful. It was completely meaningless. It just Chronicle hitting a lovely couple of shots, and then I think he even tags up the next player, which the spam, yeah, helps out Bosa. So I spoke about the potential of championship form Chronicle. This was a round that, well, as you can see, he's going to be very, very happy with. And what was it? What they thought was a setup ends up not working out. 5-4. Fnatic take the lead once again. But the operator is still in play for Jemkim. He's been able to sort of dominate whenever he's in the right place at the right time. But for a lot of this map, it's figuring that out because of how slow Fnatic have been.
So in the previous round, obviously playing off B site, playing a little heavier towards that right side of the map, you're in a position to try to step out of a Steel Garden towards that A site, fight in afterwards. The hope is from RRQ, even if that ult is used. Actually, you probably want the ult to be used. Now it's online for this round.
Yep.
Rez is there. Hunter's Fury. Fnatic have so much to work with. For RRQ.
But here it is.
One round down. They're on the B site this time, completely trapped in. This is a problem. Cushy. He's going to have a swarm of locusts descending upon him. But his weapon is back up. The flash catches, but Cushy, good for one, good for two. Against all odds on the backside. He was caught by the Steel Garden. But he's the one drawing blood till Chronicle again delivers a double.
Chronicle is
3v2.
impressive. Jemkim rifle retrieved. Crashies has that Hunter's Fury, but using it might be difficult. Nice shot dart, but even still a couple.
والكينج كرونيكل
Chronicle still stands tall.
أنا المشروع يعطيك العافية أيوساكي. من نجيب ذا الكلام يا مال 47 كي؟ من اللي يقول إني أنا أكره ديدلوك؟ ولا بس كذا جاي تفتح موضوع يعني؟ ولا عشان أرد؟ أنت سألتني عنها عشان أقول إني أكرهها. من كلامك عنها عجل ما أدري كيف تفهم. صراحة يعني ما أذكر إني قلت ديدلوك سيئة كذا من الباب للطاقة. أكيد قلت كنا نتكلم عن موضوع أو إنك فهمتني غلط. عشان قلت ديدلوك ما تنفع لحالها، فعلا ما تنفع لحالها كسنتينل إلا في حالات مثلا معك آستر معك فايبر، فهمت؟ يعني بس الحالة مثلا تاخذ فل 4 فل اجريسيف وديدلوك سولو، يعني انها تقفل سايت كامل حالها. هل معناته ان ديدلوك سيئة؟ هل الحين سيج سيئة؟ شوفها تلعب سيج سيئة؟ لا، ليه؟ انها ما هي بسولو سنتينل معها فايس.
He looked a little asleep at the start, not expecting one yet around that corner, but Chronicle reliable takes the pick. Jemkin super low as
بيت الوال أخيراً بيت الوال.
But Fnatic have already put their eggs in this basket. The A site being taken. Next Pharaoh tagged low. And a jump around from Kayak will catch him off. There is damage done on the other side though. Kayak is relatively low. They've managed to draw blood onto Boaster. RQ could make this costly, but I don't know how much impact that's realistically going to have. They needed the round
سجل باسمك يا صاحبي.
At this stage as well, damage really doesn't mean anything. So many credits for Fnatic to buy back in with, and
نشوف ايش بيسوون في الديفنس.
That was something they'd be happy with their old composition, with the chamber in the mix. I think now that they've added in the Sage, this is looking incredibly dangerous for RRQ, of course. Looking forward in the series, I do think that the map pool should get better for them. They're comfortable on Corrode. They've kicked into Abyss, which, I'll be honest, historically wasn't good for either of these sides, but hey, that's their choice. Ascent over the last few months have been 1-6, so I think expectations were relatively low, but
الراوند يخوف لفناتك.
This is starting to look very rough indeed.
وسوفر.
Oh, Jemkin, there we go. Return to the op, and of course it's Chronicle that he finds a massive scalp to take early on. Player who has bailed Fnatic out of a lot of bad situations. The 7-5 half up for grabs.
7-5 ولا 8-4 عيال.
RRQ out of Toronto, the grudge match.
في غز.
Jemkin's going back out for more, same spot as before. Of course, he's got teammates covering deep into mid, so he doesn't have to worry about his left side. He's covering this cross, and eventually that fight is going to be forced out. Crashies, but it's more importantly Alpha here with the spot.
يا عيال لا 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 لا.
Alpha walls up, pops the res, uses it as a
كيف؟
for another, but X-Sparrow delivers. And a 2 versus 2 spawns from this with the ult from Boaster. The spike will be reclaimed, but look at Munyet.
Giving his position away. Clearly aware of the potential paranoia to re-swing, but he's not won the fight. And now Xfero left on just 20 HP. This will be a tough one to win, but it will come down to the timing. If he can find a gap, find some space, maybe there's an opportunity down to just 10. Facing
والله انه سواها. والله سواها.
That is absurd.
A miracle play from Xfero.
Be as good on the entry as he was on the defense, because it is much, much harder.
Oh, Fnatic
giving
them a taste of their own medicine.
ممدانة ايش العب؟
Stack up on mid 3 instead of RRQ's 4. But they have found 2 picks and left Xfero down to 5. A much more successful start. And one of the things I wanted to highlight, Tom, is the man we're on board with right now, Munyet. He has had a tough first half, and a man we have high expectations for. I don't think Fnatic will get to see this side of Munyet for much longer. But for now, certainly a lot more to be desired. And with this pistol, if Fnatic win this, that's both pistols under their belt, which ultimately, in a 7-5 half, the pistol was what made the difference.
Yeah. I think it'd be a bit more damning. What?
All right.
Okay, that's going to help them out a little bit. A full blind shot for one of their players. Munyet's found another. You mentioned him, and he's come alive. And it's starting to get a little bit dangerous. A fight that could change it, but...
يا حبيبي.
He's known for his dancing, but he'll stand up as well. It's Boaster to close things out in the pistol round. And as you said, that extra little boost could make all the difference in their map choice.
Oh, RRQ getting a little taste of the UAE chant that we know from the EMEA arena. It's a wild idea as well to do exactly what your opponents put into play. And we've seen this from Fnatic before.
I'm a gardener. I got flowers and shit.
Okay. I'll be honest with you, I don't know what that means, but hell yeah, garden away. Fnatic 8-5. Strong lead, and they're up against Classics. For RRQ, farming those orbs early in the name of the game.
بيلعبون سلو يفهمون نشوف شو وين. شوف السبيس اللي مسويها كاياك.
Pushed up on mid. Gate crash fading. I don't think he'll stick around too much longer, and indeed he's already out.
A little bit of a ruse sold on the other side with the salvos. Of course, you can see the direction that they fly from, so doing it from the right side of the map is important. Already being tripped, and that's going to buy that additional little bit of extra time, but they are swarming in. A lot of pressure.
What?
Was that a triple wallbang?
المشكلة هيد كلها.
Was that the second shot? Because it looked like it could have been all of them.
It looked like it was 1 bullet, 3
يقول له مت تعال خذها.
Maybe we'll get a slow
Yeah, I'm going to need that slowed as much as humanly possible, but that does mean there's an opportunity for the ace, and Crazy Guy does not want to give it to him. This man was confident enough
يبغى
to
الأيس.
his 17th kill already.
يبعصون فيها أحس.
Well, Crazy Guy, he's trying to go around the world. It seems like Kayak, he is baiting. What a wonderful teammate that this guy is. In fact, they're all trying to give the opportunity for this man to get the ace. Chronicle.
تاخذ الأيس يعني تاخذ يا كونيكال ما يحتاج.
And one that, yeah, I'm going to need it slow.
واو 3 لينب سلو موشن.
Here we go.
طاع.
That was one shot. One shot, 3 kills. That's unbelievable from Chronicle. And that's what you like to see from a team. Patatek should take some notes.
I do feel incredibly bad for them though, because it's like you're swarming one player, 3 of you all line up at once. That's about as cursed as it gets, but obviously it was only an eco. This is when we need to see a change for RRQ. Kayak, he wasn't spotted in the last round, so he's going to go for the same play. Likely that he may not find anything again. xFaro just jiggling.
He's going to go out. The gate crash going to be used. Surely it's running out of time. There we go. He's back out, but Crashy's out of the round. He's taken down in market, and RRQ used that knowing that rotations will come through. Now they look to pressure towards mid. This is the right read.
Hey, في الدفن يلعبون اجريسيف.
And if the numbers go that way, they could have had a duel. Very heavily favored to themselves. In fact, they still might. Boaster's going to be walled up here. They've an audacious play.
لا يا بوستر.
Jumping on top of the box. And xFaro in with the early punish. A 3 versus 5 now.
Yeah, I don't mind the idea, but the additional jump made it difficult. Chronicle on the other side. They're going to have at least a little bit of worries about that Guardian after the last round. Alpha yet, he's being watched. Well played by Munya. Making sure that lurk can't come in from behind. And well, it needs to be a 1v5, and it's not going to happen. A solid round from the side of RRQ, patient in their attack. But as we know, with how clean the last couple have been, there's another buy coming.
Okay.
Well, it's already a margin better than the last time.
9-6.
It was Fnatic taking it 13-5. With RRQ hitting 6, but they're facing into a full buy now. Like you said, this is a
جاب الت كرونيكل. Okay, باقي له
5 on Chronicle. And he had a lights out start to the map, but there has just been next to no stopping him. But in round 16, it'll be a slow, methodical start from RRQ. Pressure towards the A site, but the spike still sat outside B. The salvos sent through to clear wine. It's all about just pushing Fnatic back, limiting how much info, how much control they have to play with.
بس سبايك في البي.
Already having to bait out some of that early utility. Wall being used over into A main. This could be a big part of the game for RRQ with how much is online. Kayak again going walkabouts. The reveal will let him know that there's a couple of players to his right, but that's not who he's looking for. He's expecting some form of reaction. The thing is though, we haven't really seen RRQ caught by any of this. Each time they've been patient. But now with 40 seconds left on the clock, bear in mind that the Vice wall has also been moved into middle, so they have a lot of information on that part of the map. The push though, not going that way.
The drone already put through on A, alarm bells ringing. Fnatic know the hits coming in with that paranoia having landed. Kayak doesn't find much. A quieter performance continues. We look for another hero on this site. Alfier grabs some info, but swings into heavy traffic. Boaster isolated. He'll be taken down after one. Chronicle.
والله قاعد يلعبونها صح. اوكي. ها كراشيز عندك علم زيادة ولا انتو كرونيكل.
They can go for this.
Okay, 2v2.
Crazy guy taking a fight alone. He's given them
Chronicle.
a real chance. xFaro so desperately low. They'll play this together with a flash still in play for Chronicle. That's a good way to burst them out into this site. If xFaro doesn't break this one yet, be blinded up. It's going down below. Oh, it's going up top. Okay, they're clearing it. Now looking to fight together with the reveal. They've seen one, they've seen the other, but xFaro lands the shot. And it's all onto Crashies. The drop down should be deadly. A double swing, but xFaro gets ahead of the play. Crashies running out of time, but he'll catch Munya.
جابها.
As the spike ticks away.
معاه ثانية يمكن. أقل من ثانية بعد. والله يلعب. والله يلعب. والله لعبوها صح.
Yeah, he was so good for the first fight. That gets the timing perfect on the swing, but I think maybe just a little bit of miscommunication.
Fantastic, please.
It shocked our pursuit, because as you said, this was going into a 2 versus 4.
يا والله سوى لك كراوتش
It ends up with one immediately taken out, and then the aggressive position of Crazy Guy. That is just a poor post plant. Like, I could forgive the guy punt in the spike. You don't know that's coming. But from then on, super aggressive. Then you get into the 2v1, and from that point onwards, you just need to wait for the drop.
طيب
That's a shame.
طيب RRQ الان يبغون اوربل سوفا ولا اليورو وبيألف سايت ويضحك.
This could give Fnatic a little bit of
جاب
momentum
الأورب.
to carry it across the line to at least push up.
يقدرون يلعبون الاي ريتيك بالراحه مع مكرونيكال الت
Put it this way, RRQ put a lot
او
more
فايس
pressure
يعني
on themselves for this
بالاصح
round.
يعني.
What could have been their redemption arc.
Portal closed.
At 9-7, the scoreline closing in, the walls closing on Fnatic.
حلبتم عزيز انك ما تفهم. روح سوي كليب بالاخر مره قلتها وتعال. اذا ما كان قبل 3 شهور شكلك تسمع عند واحد غير تقول انا اقولها.
Drones crossing path, but not really finding out too much, and the pistol.
رديت عليه صرت مشخصن. اي تعرف توضع على صغيره. جرب شوف جرب. خليني اسولف مع الناس.
They now look to try and move back to the other side of the map, but this definitely has its risks about it. Fnatic haven't moved. They'll catch the first, and actually that's wonderful.
Okay.
Gushy. 2 players down. Kayak trying to rotate into position. He's hoping someone peeks off it, but they don't. Another control being taken. Fnatic can't afford to fight this. Their economy was already on the brink after that last round. They're just going to have to hold on to their guns.
Well, especially, I'm looking at that A-side take that RRQ were posturing for at the very start of the round, and I'm thinking, well, this is actually disastrous. If they run the same play, not only will individuals be a little bit more ready for that, but if the play goes even if it goes a little bit better for RRQ, the retake with Chronicle and Crashies both now having ults, it's a completely different game. It's so much stronger, especially the Steel Garden. It would have to be convincing in that A push. And instead, they decide to go back to the B site. They decide to push into the players who have those ultimates, into the heavier defense setup. Especially looking at Chronicle just as an individual, and then with his utility.
قبل كم شهر؟
The fact that Cushy finds not one but both of them, complete game changer. That's a course correction on what was a disastrous previous round. 10-7. 3 players save on Fnatic though. They'll be able to fight for this next one.
Yeah, no, they needed all of those guns. With only Crashy surviving in the last round, he's the only one that has any hope for some bonus cash. And it even
أيام اليوم مملة لا
if they
والله حلوة.
actually want to go for this. It's not
بس أنا شوية اليوم
best
راكد.
purchases if they do. They may opt to just play with the weak
صاحي
guns that
الفجر
they have,
والله
and
أو 7
especially
الصباح عشان
now
كذا.
with a Dimensional
ما عليه ما عليه.
Hunter's Fury combo coming in for RRQ. I'd almost say it's not worth the risk.
Love this as well. Boaster's giving the rifle over to Chronicle. He'll play with the Frenzy. That's a team player right there. When Chronicle's having a game like he is, you better be giving him the rifle. Not sure about peeking short with the Frenzy, but it's all for info. The fall back. Very early use of the drone as well from Crazy Guy. They're looking to really claim this space towards middle, but Fnatic are responding. They've started to push down through B main. Take some deep control of their own.
في والي يا حجي.
It's not. Oh, it is being watched actually.
بس ممكن أمن ما فكروا إن أمن إلا أتوقع حساب الأمن ممكن يسوي تبي.
They currently have on that A site. The thorns have been placed all the way along. Chronicle for a lot of the rounds has been on this B site, so they'll now deep wall, which again will give them information if it's shot to break, and if it's not, they'll know that position is clear, and instead they set up a firing squad around the sheer. But this is what I've enjoyed from RRQ. They've been methodical at slowly breaking their way through this utility. Information will be had that there's 2 players around this position. Steel Garden has thrown in to try and remove that weaponry, but Jemkin may be already doing enough. 30 seconds left on the clock.
So
oh, there's nobody here anymore. At least with the weaponry and this hold into mid, it could be a problem. That's a spike down.
2v.
They need to run back into the hands of Chronicle. He's waiting, but he can't quite win the fight. Jemkin once again with another massive round individually.
والله لعبوها صح. وفايس ألت استعملوه.
I didn't even see.
والله فيها رجعة.
Well, it definitely could have. I mean, you look at the TP from Munyet, the fact that he goes from the shadows, the fact that Jemkin's able to make his way all the way onto that side through market to spot those players in the first place. Those are the guys who would be running down mid to pressure these attackers who've just lost their weapons. Well, the barriers are going up once again. Timeout finished. And we've seen this trip a few times. It was in the previous round, and actually Crazy Guy was holding, letting them take the space, and looking to punish them as they tried to walk around the trip, or walk deeper into the trip. And it's all just to deny that early shock dart that's been put through, and of course, Fnatic for now have no way to know that info is online late round. It's given RRQ a lot more to play with. The wall going to be used, but broken so quickly. They know there's numbers here, but RRQ have been doing a lot of posturing.
But yeah, look, that's Paranoia and Sage Wolf gone within the first 40 seconds of the round. They're not going to mind that at all.
No, they're very successful in terms of baiting out their opponent's utility and not overcommitting either. Sometimes you see that work out well half of the time, and the other half you're losing a player or two in overcommitments. That doesn't seem to be the case for RRQ.
No.
Very contained when they're baiting out that util early round.
No, I think they've genuinely been fantastic. Not overdoing it, not taking too many risks. They're now going to go back to the exact position that they sort of baited out
بس ما حدا راح من المين.
Will delay them at least a little bit. And there are quite a few players here for Fnatic.
ايوه فيك واضح.
At least on both, they're definitely not ideal. But again, this is
بيعودون بي سبلت.
just posturing. They now head back towards Kayak. Now he's been having a rough game. They could definitely use it helping them out. And with the Hunter's Fury combination, that creates distraction. That's the spike on the deck. 15 seconds left. This one's looking a little bit more rushed. They need to get a move on. And Alpha and Chronicle at the back of this site. All they need to do is hold the line at least a few seconds. And in fact, they've already got the Thorns to do that job for them. Fnatic find their form, and of course, once more, it's in the hands of Chronicle.
Yeah, I like the start of the round from RRQ, getting towards short, baiting all of that, but the problem is when they rotate back, having drained the utility belts of their opponents, Fnatic have 3 players close by who immediately they get towards that site, and then you're playing a slow, first of all, 2 points. First of all, you're playing a slow round against Fnatic. They know how to play against slow rounds. They play a lot of them. But secondly, you're running with 15 seconds left into a Vice setup, and that Vice setup belongs to Chronicle.
I think you're crazy. I also want to say as well, I want to give credit to Crashies. I think the timing of that Hunter's Fury, I think without it, they probably clear Kayak much quicker, and then maybe you have an extra 15 seconds on the clock to get into the site rather than 8.
Yeah, which also comes back to they heard the steps rotating away. Kayak needs to get out of there, and he does.
ضيع كثير.
Yeah, it was a little too telegraphed from RRQ. 11-8. Margin for error thinning, and already the economy on the rocks. But Crazy Guy comes in.
Chronicle is
with
crazy.
A big ult online, especially on the attack side.
There's a lot of angles that can be cleared by this. A lot of cheeky spots that can be denied. But this is both teams with their economy on the brink. This could be a chance for RRQ to equalize, or it could be the end of the map. Kayak again, not quite connecting. Got to go forward. Position being created. Awkward. And the openers.
حلوة لعبها صح. طاح
Nobody really here to try and deny them anymore. The spams from Crashies are hopeful at best, especially with them knowing his exact position. And it now comes down to the same decision for Fnatic. Do you risk this?
Love this from Jamkin.
بس أسرع تراكم مطول أسرع.
He's not going to do very well, so he decides to play that very late wraparound. That should seal the deal.
شكوا فيه.
And even if Fnatic decide to go back and save these weapons, he will be waiting. Alpha down, Boaster follows, and Crashies.
كانوا ناويين يلعبون إكزيت أتوقع.
It's soon to fade. I don't think he's got a great chance of holding on to this weapon. And he won't do any damage. It's a flawless round for RRQ. The climb back, just 2 rounds behind again.
يا أخي ليش RRQ قفل الليلة.
لازم. That continues. Fnatic will hit 13 pretty soon. We need to see RRQ continue this form.
Yeah, Crazy Guy's utility in this round just made that B site hold so awkward. It forced a really aggressive fight from Kayak, and I'll be honest, in terms of what we've seen in EMEA, this isn't comparable. Like, he is having a really rough time on the stage at the moment. He's been caught up by Monyet, but this is a player we expect to have large amounts of impact. Speaking of another, though, that's a nice shot from Alpha. It removes that lurking player of Expero. Maybe gives them a little bit of extra space. The problem, though, is Crashy's already gone down in response, and the salvo will deny any aggression.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about pistols.
هذا الجيم الثاني لليوم. ايوه الماب الأول.
Crosses over, but he's now seeing Chronicle, and Kayak lands the headshot. An outlaw and a rifle picked up an advantage in manpower. A res online for Alpha.
يلا.
An ult for info if Boaster wants to use it. But Kayak's already got plenty to work with. This is now winnable for the defensive side, and RRQ need to tighten up the ship.
عجل
They
عجل.
also need a pick, and that's what Jemkin gives them. Cushy following up as well. Now a 2v2, but the res will be used. Fnatic not looking to let this round slip just yet.
Okay.
The flash pops. And I love the thorns to the back, but they don't get activated, and Cushy continues to deliver on the backside. Boaster, landing one, leaves Cushy alone.
وش يسويها يا
It's a
عيال؟
1v1, and with
يسوي-
Boaster so desperately low, and the clock draining. It's Cushy to find all five. RRQ just one
Ace.
behind.
He has been so impressive throughout this map so far. There's
رد
been
الإيس
rounds that have
حق
gone late
كرونيكل.
where you see him run in and get a double.
وكلهم
This was
اثنين جابوها في
all
الإيكو
him.
او في ايكو
Sure, maybe there
الخصم.
were 6 kills to be had in the round because of the res, but I don't think anybody on the RRQ side of things is going to be too worried about that one. A solid hold to end it out, moving him up to 19 on the board, overtaking Jemkin.
ها من اللي
This
بيصير
is where
سكيور.
Fnatic now have themselves a buy. The last round was a lot of missing
Kill.
pieces, but a big opportunity. Now is where they need to recover because RRQ have been building into this attack side.
Oh, here we go. Jemkin finding the info. Cushy
So much
finding the tags
Oh.
and finding the
وشال
IGL.
السوب
and
باستر
Fnatic
اهم
will
واحد.
lead from the death screen.
اوه
but
شال
Chronicle
كل اوكي
able to
كرونيكل
trade
شال
things
السموكر
back,
برضه.
removing this extra smokes in the late round. That's going to be quite the blow.
لا،
It
بيكون
looks
ايم
like
الحين، ما في
Fnatic want to get
سموكات.
ahead of this. They've got 3 players in heaven, but a flash primed and ready. They're thinking about getting aggressive as the Rose Garden goes through. In comes Kayak. He's found one.
ثاني
A
تحت
wall
معه.
bang on the crazy
شوف.
guy, but Jemkin, he's keeping this, well, at least under control for a moment, even with the pistol in play.
يلا اللي جاب
Late
التري.
for round for next Pharaoh's going to be all that it comes down to, but he's got to swing into a plant position that he just cannot deny the defuse from. 12 to 10, Fnatic, they edge out this round, and they've got 2 chances to take the map.
عيال بس سؤال بالنسبه للتلخيص في اليوتيوب، ايش رايكم؟ تبغون الجيم تنزل على طول في الليله، يعني الليله نفسها يعني كالعاده 12 و2 ولا خليها الصباح؟ الساعه 7 8 الصباح والساعه 10 11 الصباح. ايش الافضل صدق والله؟ اوكي صباح احسن صباح، لاني انا والله ودي بعد البث انام، لان التلخيص وذا كله مع الشورتات يمكن ياخذ مني 3 ساعات. خلاص اجل افضل انام واقوم الصباح والخص. تركش بوليس قال له.
Is this something that's checked? It is, and what Jemkin has been winning that fight time and time again. His sight hold, though, has been devastating. They're walking into Chronicle's domain, and thus far this game he's been dominant.
بشوف بحاول. اوكي خلينا نشوف الراوند الاخير.
Has been pretty reliable. The utilities keeping them out of boathouse for now. The push comes to a slow for RRQ. The spike retrieved. They haven't set their sights on it just yet. The run through the smoke successful for Xfero.
RRQ جابها.
With Chronicle already gone, Boaster and Alpha have a difficult decision.
بلانت.
Going for this.
3v2.
Well, it's no longer a decision. No debate.
Okay.
Jemkin's down, and it's Xfero and Munyet against Boaster and Alpha.
They've got a real opportunity. Back into the 2 versus 2.
طيب هيله.
Maybe expectations that there'll be somebody within this smoke already. Alpha are not really willing to risk it, but eventually jumps through, but doesn't realize maybe there's somebody on the other side. They will now.
Nice,
Maybe
mate.
even going to trade it out. The team
هيله.
used as bait. Monya to try and keep them
واو
in.
يا اللعب. واو يا اللعب.
Standing once again. A third
جابوا الماب الاول.
round of world.
شوف قام على طول يحيي الشباب. طب الديفيوز. اوكي.
It's a nail biter of a map, but Fnatic take it 13
يسلم
to
تصفية
10.
الماب الأول.
Revenge denied for RRQ. But up next, the shake-up in the map pool with Abyss and Corrode.
طيب
It's all to
بيجيكم
play
اعلان يا
for
عيال
after the break.
3 دقائق وتصويت الماب الثاني.
When it came to that attack side, in terms of taking that space and then doing something with it.
The only thing I'm sad about is the bit I liked about the previous Waylay we saw was that there was a Yoru to go with it. Like, there was always a 1-2 punch. Like, this is a solo waylay, and actually running the comp in the past, Alfia was actually running the Jet. So it was like you had that double duelist that I think worked wonderfully for Fnatic on that attack side. And obviously, there's benefits of having the other util, but
I must wait a moment.
I don't know. I kind of wanted to see the double duelist flare come out of Fnatic with that waylay in play. We'll see what ideas they have, at least for now. Kayak going walkabouts.
That's exactly it. Straight down through mid. Fnatic starting out confidently. They're going to be greeted by Xfero, who's been there to punish them a couple of times on the previous map. That stun doesn't actually catch him. It's Jemkin to find a pick, but it's traded back by 2 and slowed down in the re-aggression through mid. RRQ, by the time they get through that choke, get up.
Oh, the timing.
Onto the stairs. I thought Fnatic would be safely out of there, but yeah, Kayak has been caught back to a 3v3.
She's just holding the angle, but doesn't manage to land. Pistol definitely not done yet. Bear in mind, Fnatic have won both of them so far, and that was seemingly the difference maker in terms of the rounds in the last map. All 3 players of RRQ grouping up outside this B site, and after a little peek in that direction, it feels like Fnatic have got completely the wrong read. This is going to be a free plant, and they're going to be as far away as humanly possible. I don't know what information they had that this was going to be an A hit, but whatever it was, it has baited them completely.
RRQ have also done a great job of keeping their utility here. Munyet not burning up a paranoia. Taking this as a contact play now gives them a lot more to work with when it comes to this post plant. I'm curious to see whether this was going to be used in an aggressive way with the position of Jemkin to try to paranoia him through when they hear these steps of the retake, but instead they're playing back on the side.
They got both of the shock darts and the recon as well, so there's a lot available for them.
There's paranoia line
to try and have their sweaty little lineups. There's the paranoia just to kind of keep Jemkin safe in the corner. It does mean they know he's there. Crashy's able to clear already. Potential, but it's just going to be the firefights from Crazy Gun has worked out. One found already within the Smoker's Chronicle. He's trying to continue from before, and immediately it's going to land himself another shot. It's whether or not he has enough time. He does not. It was incredibly close for another Chronicle miracle. But instead, it will be RRQ taking
يعطيك العافية يا ليش. شكرا لك. بهذا التصويت. طيب التصويت شغال بنقفله. معكم 10 ثواني الحين تصوتون اللي ما صوت.
As you said, was the difference maker. When you look back on the previous map, they won. Fnatic won by 3 rounds, and they got a 4-0 start in terms of those pistols and follow-ups. It makes all the difference.
5 4 3 اللي ما صوت 2 1 قفلنا التصويت.
They were 13-5 on it up against Fnatic.
يعطيكم العافية كل من صوت. شكرا لك.
But now this one, we're going to unknown territory.
الآن الوضع
Abyss and Corrode head to head. But I am curious to see in the rifle rounds
1-0
how this comp is going to play out. Because like I said, there was a lot of punish for the role that Jemkin is playing.
Oh dear.
Can see the tweets already.
All 5 players going down. They gambled on one side of the map. They got the side of the map wrong. They don't want to give the orbs over on the rotation either. So economically, not bad for RRQ. They get to keep all their guns, but they don't get any of the orbs.
انتحرنا. ليش؟
We'll put them 2-0 in the lead though. And with 4 rifles onto the
عشان ما نعطيهم ultimate orb.
There's even an argument for buying up a 5th one, but
عشان الالتيميت اورب التياتهم ما تقرب في النهايه مو ضامنين راوند مسوين بلانت هم 6 كوسايت ريتيك بي مستحيله احنا كلنا بيستولز
Stun held. There's no way Kayak's getting super aggressive here on the back of it. Now they will just sit and wait, but here comes a dive from Jemkin.
عشان الاسلحه معك حق معهم بيستول ايش اسلحته فتح الله يرحم شيبانك
They've made it now.
دخل اسلحه
denying the plant. Oh no, it's not. It's on the other side of the box. Pardon me. Because she's able to get the plant down nice and open.
Yeah, I guess they didn't expect just for him to plant almost in front of them. It's a bit of a gamble with this many players there, but it sets them up nicely into the post plant. All 5 players from Fnatic and still a decent amount of utility. Recon already being sent out to try and clear some of that backline, but in fact it's a much deeper post plant. The spams is the aim of the game. A 1-for-1 trade, but bear in mind what they lost it on last time. It was the time, it was the clock that went against Fnatic. Already you see the fragment into position. At times starting to tick down once again, and they're only just getting onto the shot. It's going to go through, but it's missed. I don't think it's quite as close this time around. They will be able to get it done. Fnatic have a round, but if that shot was a little deeper, they did not.
Just an inch to the right, and that's a completely different game. Yeah, that's
عزيز معلش
for RRQ.
شاتي بقول لك شغله فيكم الخير انتم يعني لو واحد سب كلنا بنقفطه وبيسب من فلان سب وبيروح وراح ما يطول ما سكبته اللحظه لاني منتي مع الجيم ومعك حق قادر اني احتاج مودات وانا كل ما اضفت مود يختفي كل ما اضفت مود كره البث ما عاد يبغاني تحس اني معطي واحد مود يقول لي عليه المسؤوليه ويسحب علي اخوياي اللي معطيهم مودات اصلا ما هم موجودين في البث كل الشباب اللي اتكي معهم انا كلهم مودات عندي ولا احد فيهم من فتره اصلا من زمان جو شقروا يوم وراحوا وانا ضفت احد من البث يعني من الشباب اللي يجون البث يستمتعون في البث مو من اخويانا يومي ذا بعدينها قطع بطولة قطع اسبوع وراح اسبوعين راح من فترة ما في مود استمر معي فترة طويلة يعني عزيز شلون اعرفك ما تسحب؟ اكذب اقول ايه؟ ما بجامل في ذا الموضوع والله ما جامل مو بقصورهم فحد انت ما تدري انت خلينا نتابع ما عليه بعد البطولة لها كلام ان شاء الله حلو داش كل سكيور بلانت خلينا نشوف البوست حقهم كيف سوى له بول كنسل الديفيوز البلانت بدأ مشروع شافه نزل
That's a crazy unlucky fight from Fnatic.
Look at Alpha as well. He's 1 HP. Like the spams have done so much damage to the side of Fnatic. But getting back into the site is going to be a difficult one. They're still going for it. They're still trying to make that space. Kayak's actually won the opener. That's not a bad way to find themselves back into the round. But it's this late wraparound from Mumya that could cause them problems. The fight on the site actually going the way of Fnatic and an old school cam on the spike is going to be a nasty surprise. It means once again they haven't been able to get on it. Have they heard Munya? No, they haven't. But he's going to be caught. A last-second check from Chronicle gets the job done. It could have been a wonderful moment for Munya, but instead he is caught.
Yeah, just great work connecting the dots in the end for Chronicle. Not sure who made that call, but with Omen being there in the early round, they realize he's been missing for a little bit too long. It's a drone sent up top. But it wasn't even the tag, it was just a wild spray through. Guesstimating Crashy's path out of there.
This is our map! We have a map! We have a map!
والله أنا فنان.
That was a big conversation on the desk, right, about how the previous eras of Fnatic have always had a home ground. I think the most prominent in my mind is always going to be Icebox back in the day. They don't have that here.
I would say Lotus, but you know.
Lotus, I mean, it's more recent. It's not as niche. I like the aged one.
Well, already taking a casualty. So the weaponry, well, the only rifle that's had is going to be the upgrade. I said I wanted to see those stingers. Well, I've got it in map number 2. Shot dart out, but a single bullet onto any of these players would be certain demise. Even still, though, the time ticking. And that's already been a bit of a burden so far for Fnatic.
It's been a much better start for Munyet, and it looks like he'll have pressure on him again. Stun lined up and fired through. Here comes the flash. He'll be caught by it. Hunter's Fury, though, sent through as a response. Drop down is good for Boaster. He'll find it first. Munyet surrounded. Picks his fight from the corner. Boaster, though, putting the pressure on, and Munyet will be taken out by the Fnatic. They started this out on the back foot, but the lead is now theirs.
والله ريتك.
They've looked better and better as the retakes have gone on. I think Boaster being able to bait the player in main, the Hunter's Fury, not quite having the impact that they would have desired. Even still, from a low buy, it's not bad, but it's the committal of the ults late that definitely makes me say that it's a bit more costly than you might think. You look at 5 stingers and you go, okay, that's fine, but the loss of the Hunter's Fury.
Listen to me, Jake. I'm trying to tell you something. I can't move, Alpha.
Oh, it worked anyway. 3-2. A retake after a retake after a retake, but RRQ, well, they probably feel like the B site after it being half a second and a slightly missed shock dart.
الفجر يقول له ابغى اقول لك شيء، اسمعني بعلمك شيء. انا يقول له انا ما اقدر اتحرك. ما ادري ايش السالفه اصلا، بس هذا اللي سمعناه، ما في شيء ثاني.
We've seen this before. He just gets out happy with his opening pick, with the advantage claim. The spike making it to backside. This is normally the aftershock goes down. This time they try to deny the close plant. The wraparound from Manette catches them in that transition period, and it's a 4 versus 4. RRQ have a late flank coming in from Xfero as well, covering all their bases. There's still a trip covering it. These players on site could be under pressure. Kayak, that ult's not quite going to hit Manette up in heaven. Xfero and Manette both finding theirs. And then now that flank putting so much pressure on Fnatic need to be quick. They got to run forward. There's gaps in the play, and RRQ are exploiting them. 3-3 now, leveled back, and it seems difficult to separate
لا ما هو
these
بول
teams
بلا
in
مو
the early stages of any
من
map.
التيم كول.
No, I really like that every round we're seeing it.
هو كان يبغى يقلب، صدقني
those
الكول.
late flanks coming through. Like they haven't always been successful, but this fight for Xfero was everything. And I think Monya and his positioning has been sublime. Like he's the reason they win this round. He's able to get a little pick on the corner, and then maneuver up top outside of the ult and find another as they try and switch in. Because of that, they're slower to get the kill onto Cushy. Great round from him individually. That trip's taking a worryingly long time to set up. If they had swung that corner, that man is certainly dead, but hey, he got it done in the end.
Already you can see they've spotted Boaster, and they know with the knife popping that no one is on the site. Very quick to take the space.
Well, there's the trip.
Jemkins landed himself up top, a different route than was planned for by that trapwire. Hunter's Fury active, but denied immediately. The ult from KO taking all the abilities, all the ulties away, and buying so much time. Fnatic will have to now wait. They've got so much util for the retake, but that clock is going to run low by the time they can use it.
Well, it has been running low every single time. Monya faking out the idea.
Whoa,
he swung into them. He knew where they were. That's messy though.
What the fuck? لا هذا بوستر.
This round was looking done, but it's left all onto Monya.
أكيد الفجر جاء خذ الماوس.
He wants to take that fight, and he will not win it. Albia onto the defuse again, and this time plenty on the clock to be able to get it over and done with. But I'm just looking at both.
يلعبون ريتيك. فازوا 3 راوندات ريتيك يا صاحبي. هذا أبيس ريتيك. حلنا نصايح نعلمه. أبيس ستايله ريتيك، خاصة إذا معك شخصيات زي أسترا مثلا. والله مو بس أسترا، بشكل عام يعني. مضطر تحط حيلك في سايت وتلعب ريتيك على السايت اللي فيه السنتينل.
A good job that reveal went out just before Crashies went down.
Hello, bro. Moyet, hello. How you think, brother? Hello, brother.
Hey, I'll say that the last guy who waved at Monya had a bad day. Benji remembers.
Well, Alpha, he's clearly feeling confident down on that stage. We're gonna have the Blade Storm activated for Jemkin. Deep play towards the A site for Fnatic. Early doors taking a lot of control.
سبلتين
their pace as a response. Straight through mid. There's two
راح
players quite passive on this B site, ready for the fight. Crashies slowing down the players in mid, making a bit of an accordion effect. This is leaving more isolated battles.
1 for 1, 1 for 1.
One though. That utility down, the player covering across the site out of the round completely. They now have to focus in the late round and take coming through. You've talked about the late round flank. Yeah, might have the best one yet.
He's low on HP, so he has to pick his moment. The rest of the team have been able to place themselves in the back of the site. Chronicle with a single kill might even be able to just rolling thunder them all off the map, but they are waiting. They don't want to overface, they don't want to get aggressive. They are giving the time for Monya to make potentially the play of the round. He's watching everybody. It's a little bit messy, but he'll still get the one. Not quite as much as he would have hoped for, but the rest of the players have still been just waiting patiently. Cushy again, swinging from the same angle. This guy has been unstoppable from that spot. A 4th kill from him. And well, once again we find ourselves level. It's been the story of the match.
It really has a perfect storm of parity here on the server. But Cushy,
this is spot.
Every time you see him there in the post plant, he's able to deliver. And I'll tell you what, Alpha here might be regretting his words now. You're going to keep losing retakes. Well, not this time, says Cushy. 4-4.
Look at the economy as well.
Neck and neck, and this is where RRQ should be retaking their lead.
Oh yeah, there would have to be some, well, crazy individual plays or mistakes, and most likely a bit of both if they were to lose this round. Alfia has a lot of info in towards the A side. He's playing in mid, obviously trying to avoid any of the KO utility if it was thrown through. Of course, Cushy getting so many kills that he already has that null command back online. And the support that Alpha has is just the jiggle peak of Chronicle. It definitely leaves him out to dry, but when you have a buy like this, you have to take risks.
Well,
نعم كيولت هذا شيء كويس بس
You've heard the drone go through as well on RRQ.
بس اوريدي مسبقين لها فناتك يعني تشوفون مكان سايفر وين يا عيال انتم؟ مستب اي وين رايح؟ بس لو اني مكان كيو بقلت من مد. للاسف انك تغطي مساحه كبيرة. الترب شغال لهم. عرفوا ان سايفر مو موجود. عرفوا ان سايفر برا.
Alfia is far enough away to not get caught by the null command, but they will find it before they run on it.
طرح نفسه يوم فتح الكيج.
Flank being set up as well by Xfero. He goes down, that is a rifle gifted over, but Alpha is going to have to really tick all the boxes to clear him out. He saw the pistol, but now he certainly spotted him, but Alpha lands the shot. They want to be patient on Fnatic, but RRQ get ahead of it. They're playing aggressive, finding the double. A big advantage now.
I think most of the danger is gone. Alfia with the rifle is the one piece of the puzzle.
Oh, الفجر يسيب الجن
ولا find Crashy's corpse, that's for sure. And for Alfia, it then gets to the point of like, okay, do you just hold on to the weapon? How much damage are you really hoping to do here? The answer is absolutely nothing. And Chronicle with no orbs needed to be gained. I think the only thing he can either hope for is a rifle or the taste of the spike.
5 on the board for RRQ. The lead reclaimed, but
الآن سبقوا فناتك. بكل فجر هذا كان مرة حلو بس والله كايو مسوي شغله. والله كايو هنا مرة مسوي شغل يا عيال بشكل مو طبيعي.
I want to give credit again to RRQ for how methodical they are in these moments. Like even when they use the null command into the site, they're still checking for those trips. They know that that's one of the main dangers, is just a kill trip somewhere on the corner. They're checking and pinging for the cams. Like they are not aggressive in the way they're doing things. They're smart with it. Very enjoyable team to watch. A set play though being thrown in for Fnatic.
يبغون ياخذون كنترول اي.
But unfortunately for Kayak, there was nobody caught in the stun.
And RRQ don't just run to the other side of the map, knowing now that they're facing in to that rolling thunder. They'll still compete for the orb, but with 4 players here, it's going to be the exact same round minus the null command. They've lost one to Chronicle. That rolling thunder will be put through. It almost sent money out of the map, and instead it sent him into the waiting arms of Chronicle. But a 3v3, and again this mid-play. Alpha got the better of Xfero last time, but this time it's revenge.
بس ايش الفكرة من كرونيكل انه يقلت بدري وما يلعبون ريتيكلت.
Getting his rifle out, it looked like a little late, but he'll end up equalizing things.
Okay, well throughout this, Chronicle didn't move. I can understand why. You've seen a kill on the other side of the map. You kind of had the expectation that they go the other way.
خلاص يا بنتي. أم الإزعاج.
Been able to get out of the grab well. Because of that, he gets that early fight. And Boast has been wrapping around the back line, going all the way around the map to try and get in from behind. He does have the cosmic divide available, but placing it while in the open would be a massive risk. He's just trying to make his way into the site, and Crazy Guy, well, it's been too long. He started to realize that he has to be coming in from behind. The tap on the spike reveals his opponent's position. But the clock is in his favor.
يا أخي أقسم بالله العظيم إني تقروشت من صوت الجمهور. إله إلا الله. فككوا جو، أبغى أركز، أبغى أتابع. تقروشت من ذا الصوت اللي توه الصوت بحة الصوت ضغطتني. الصوت اللي توه مخلص من المراهقة دخل في البلوغ وله يومين. الصوت قاعد يتغير وقاعد يصايح عندي في الستيج. ده اللي يجيك فيه.
Game so far as well. And at 5-5, both teams dumping their economy into this one. This round may well be a fight for the lead.
For RRQ.
At halftime.
They're going to take some early space. It will be spotted. There we go. Just a little bit of patience. Jemkin still looking like he wants to challenge this, maybe expecting a reaction. The A-site split, not something we've seen too much of. It's a very tight angle to try and make your way through. That's why Crashies is just happy to try and hold this one. Dart up, stun, keeps them locked in, and well, the players attempting to make it through A main are kind of stuck until they get through this choke.
They have done a great job so far on the attacking side. Dealing with Alpha Year's utility, it doesn't feel like he's getting a lot off those traps, constantly being destroyed. Always caution on the push through. It will be the same again.
He's using this cam to clear mid.
Fnatic group up here. 4 players moving into heaven, but RRQ want to take the fight to them. Chronicle though, good for the duel. In goes the Hunter's Fury. It's a narrow laneway. Doesn't land for more than the one though. 4 versus 3. Oh, he's just delivered a double. Managed to find them, fall back, and then the trap on the other side reveals one of the last players, Boaster, the one that was unknown. Alpha will be caught by Crazy Guy.
والله منيت حاس
لخبط. It's RRQ for 6.
Yeah, Munya's having a game. Every single time it seems like when he's in the right
ما
place.
أدري بس غريب إنه ما أيم فوق وذابحه فوق.
Pick back up. We mentioned it. That it was a
Jabba, what?
half in the last map, and the pistol was what made the difference. It seems like it might end up being the case again. Of course, RRQ were the ones.
واثنين مو واحد.
Come on, just look at what is on the board for.
يلا بنخلص تلهاف عشان بروح أصلي العشاء.
This round, this series for Kayak has definitely been a nightmare one. We get to really see him deliver on either the Yoru or the Waylay. And what is a fast-paced take once again for RRQ.
Jemkin looking to harvest souls, caught by the stun, yet he still survives. Kashi again, but it's Boaster with a double, breathing life into Fnatic. But in a 2v3, still on the back foot.
He loves the cam on the spike.
And it got down just in time. That shock dart landed just a little bit too late. And Crashies, he'll have no more chance to play with the bow. Last man standing, Alpha here. He's got a classic now.
Stinger at range. Rifle.
But better than the classic, perhaps. Well, maybe not, actually. It depends. Certainly ended up with a better rifle.
That is what RRQ have been so good at. They're not going to give him a single fight. Just jiggle peeking, baiting him into taking awkward positions. He doesn't have anything to play with. The time against him. And look, even at the end, the cam will be what decides the round.
خلاص موت والله عادي مو غلط.
There is no fight to be had. The half will be won by RRQ.
يا أخي ما أحب ذا اللي يفقد الأمل، والله ما داني ذا اللعب. يعني شيكت سايت لك سنة، تشيك سايت لك سنة. أنت الحين المفروض تروح فول دبليو للسبايك، فول دبليو للسبايك بعد ما شيكت شيك سريعي. إذا أنت تبغى تجيب الراوند، لكن إلا إنك تبغى تجيب كل بمدة دقيقتين تشيك ما أنت مسوي ديفيوز. لا ما أحب زي كذا. أنا خلاص 3v1 خسران. طيب أوكي كلنا عارفين إنك خسران. طيب روح موت. لا بموت موت على الأقل أذبح واحد وأموت عشان الكدي حقي يصير حلو. بس ما يدري لو لعب فول دبليو بعد ما شيك أندر تاب بدري فرصة من اثنين بيكونك يمكن تدبل بالغلط.
want to ask you is how did you discover RRQ? What gave you
أوه صلاح الله يسعدك. يلا.
Start to this map. But if they want to survive going into that lower bracket, they need to make sure that they close this one out.
Well, this is their best chance so far. The lead by 2. The pistol round from Fnatic. Have 2 of Ascent. It was a bloodbath to start it out. Cushy getting aggressive, and he's been tagged up. It's time to fall back. Same for Crazy Guy. Taking some scars early on, but yet to drop a player. Question is, do they have the read right? As we see a lot of this defensive side flock towards the B side, and it certainly seems like for the moment that's where Fnatic want to take it. But I am seeing Boaster clearing a lot of space on A.
Oh, it's almost an early pick. Kayak eventually will find one, but he's traded out by Cushy again. He seems to love this B site. But with space being held, this was something that the old Fnatic on this map loved to do. They'd just leave Boaster in the spawn. Crashes, though, has been caught, looking like maybe he wanted to try and get out of there. Instead, they're now walking into a site that I imagine they believe to be clear, but xFaroe definitely still waiting. And Angie is in the perfect position. Now they try and split back through. They'll be able to deal with him, and in fact, Boaster's caught a couple. One of the remaining players incredibly low, but they need to get this plant in, and Boaster holding the line.
10 seconds left.
He's found himself 3 already, but he's the last healthy player. Alpha down to 25. That's Sheriff. A 6 chambered up against him, and it's Boaster to deliver his 4th of the round. A big play from the IGL. We just highlighted him, and for good reason.
Yeah, no, impressive stuff. And as said, like when you look back at their old composition where they had that double duelist, a lot of the time they would leave him behind as this hard lurk if he's setting up utility from afar and basically not allowing you to push across the map. This, though, was a different story. He completely took the A site on his own and then ended up clearing out the players as they went to rotate. A brilliant round from Boaster. And well, we mentioned the importance of the pistol rounds in the last map. They're even in this one.
Conversion here. Oh, Alpha under pressure. He has been taken down.
It's a lurk, though.
It's only classics from RRQ. But now they've managed to find themselves a Marshall. Alongside damage, that can be a very valuable weapon in a round like this. But they will be forced into the retake. Is the plant secured on this A site? And the question for Fnatic is, how do you want to play this? Especially with the range advantage going back towards mains. Not a bad idea, but conscious of Munyet being able to just smoke them off. They want to stay a little bit aggressive, keep some control.
Oh, nice
but the Cam has spotted them. They know exactly where to fight. RRQ have all the info. They're putting the pieces together, and it's Fnatic coming crumbling down. That late Cam from xFaroe has given them a chance, but he can't convert. It's Boaster to save the round with the Red Bull clutch.
I'm not sure that's the way they really wanted to win the round, but maybe for him that's a nice little confidence boost. Not that it seems like he needs it. A safe pair of hands in the late round was what I said, but I was talking about his utility, not so much just the raw individual aim. Well, that was incredibly messy. The aggressive positions helping out the flash of Cushy that did so much work to get them back into spot. But then just winning those fights with the classics, that's a dangerous spot to be from. And by the looks of it, Fnatic have invested quite heavily back into this one. They might leave themselves in a bit of trouble next round.
We'll see how the economy's settled as players start to fall.
Oh, hey!
He's got one up top. That's another rifle. This is a full body now! Kayak is double connected, and he's hungry for more. Blood in the water, and he's swimming straight towards xFaroe. Just about manages to survive that engagement. The Cypher healthy towards the spawn, but a 5 versus 3. That investment for Fnatic paying off.
But that was the man we wanted to see. He's been missing throughout the majority of this series. Cushy trying to take space back through. This is not going to be easy. Maybe it is. There's a gap. A spot for him to take a fight. But look how passive the remaining players are. Cushy's found another. Making this one interesting for sure. They've dodged themselves that knife, and now already that time being bought, and Boaster and Chronicle combined, holding the line. The man next to him is meant to be the superstar, but Boaster is stealing the day.
Popping and locking it down there on the stage. Didn't see the same reaction from Chronicle, but I think he's still pretty happy to take this round. And you see the idea there from RRQ. As soon as they tap the spike, they know the knife didn't hit anyone. They have a grab well. We need to push. And they just weren't expecting there to be...
I'm turning into a monster!
Oh my god, Jake.
He's going to have a duet with Rihanna soon.
Imagine being the guy on the other side of the stage.
بوستر 19 اصبر
With some
بوستر
heroics from
19
Kushi.
كل
He's been having a
بوستر
great
توب
game
فراغ
overall.
لا في فناتك بيخسر الجيم
Start to feel this game
اسألني إذا لا
slipping
يجي
away
توب
from
فراغ
them.
بيخسرون الجيم
As we've already witnessed, there's been plenty of upsets, plenty of teams falling into the lower bracket. With Billy China
عرف هذه
number one
عرفها
currently sat down there.
أجل ياخذ توب فراغ معناته في حاجة غلط
RRQ want to join them.
I think especially going down like this.
ما
I mean, look, it's still a very tight game, but now they've got pistols. You should be looking at a 9-7 scoreline. And, you know, if Chronicle's the one digging your grave, well, hey, listen, plenty of people have fallen into that pit hole. Alpha, up for contest as best player in the world at one point in Kayak, the guy coming up from the Tier 2. Looking remarkable, the young gun, but you're getting diffed by Boaster. That's something that I think you know.
He's a young man.
He is, yeah. And as the desk was highlighting, his stage 2 performance was lacking a little bit individually. But we've seen that. The guy's got a lot of responsibilities. Right now, it seems like he's the brains and the brawn down on that stage.
Kayak taking the space once again. Spam not quite finding anything. Of course, there's not a whole lot to play with in this round, so it might be a chance for him to farm. He already has ult online.
Hello.
I think the confidence far more valuable for Fnatic at this stage. The duelist trying to get their way back into the game, and that's exactly what's happening in this one.
Nice.
A clean-up with only 2 standing and plenty of utility denying anybody swinging that planter. For the remaining players, can they do any damage? That's not a bad start, but Alfie a quick
سلام
easy round for Fnatic.
حتى كلنا ما
They do give RRQ a lot of opportunities. A bunch of individual fights.
ايه قاعد اشوف الكديه انا مجرد طلع توب فراغ قاعد اقول للشات اي جي اللي اخذ توب فراغ هذه علامه خساره يعني بيخسرون في حاجه غلط.
They're starting to just run it down at us. They need to see a bounce back pretty soon. This is 4 in a row now.
Turkey.
But a 4-0 start, we've seen it many times. And many times we've seen that team end with 4 or 5 rounds in the half. This is RRQ's chance.
دركة مع تيم أوروبي نسيت اسمه.
An early half upset.
بس ما تأهل.
When that came into play on the defensive side of Ascent, it was a massive game changer. That's where Jimkin really did the damage. The problem thus far, and a problem that, again, I still remember back to the beginning of the season where Fnatic played, I think it was versus Gentlemates. They loved the A-site takes. Seems like they've developed a taste for B, and that's where Jimkin will be waiting.
الجيم ليدر الكابتن اللي يعطي بلانات. اللي يعطي الكول. ايش بنسوي ذا راوند؟ هو اللي يكون ذا الشيء.
Quite a bit of damage done in return.
نفيك نلعب ديفولت. كونتاكت وهكذا.
Those trap plays no longer there to work with, and Alpha gets the info on the back of it. Oh, crazy guy trying for the punish.
والله سنتك قاعد يلعب صح.
A 5v3 that off needs to start delivering, but the opportunities
بوستر قاعد يذبح. بوستر قاعد يفوز دول.
For Fnatic.
كيف؟ يا عيال قاعد الاحظ بوستر يبدع ويجيب كلات اذا يلعب واسترا. من اللي قد شاف العام مو العام الفيستي اللي قبل يضيع بس يوم لعب استرا يبدع. تذكرون يوم بدع في الفيستي الاول يوم كان بس باسترا الظاهر بهيفن قال واحد في الشات كتب قال ايش معنى الحين بدع؟ قلت شكله عشان استرا يلعب مني يجيب العيد يلعب ذا يجيب العيد يلعب استرا يجلد. استرا تعطيك بف شكله. قالوا لي ناس في اليوتيوب ابو خالد المده تحرق علينا، مده التلخيص، يعني اذا مر ساعه من المقطع والنتيجه 1-0 يقدر انها بتنتهي 2-0. فايش رايكم؟ يسوى اني اضيف زياده صوره كذا في النهايه مدتها نص ساعه 40 دقيقه واحط فيها اي كلام بس كذا فيك عشان ازود الوقت، ولا ما في داعي اني اسوي ذا الامور؟ في النهايه هو تلخيص.
The door has to be broken open, and as he fades away, Monette fades out of the round, trying to cover his teammate. 4 sheriffs now left in play, and for Fnatic, grouping and hitting a site, it's the right call. It's what you want to see happen from our perspective, and you can see they've made that call.
Yeah, the worry as well is like the next buy, round number 19.
خليه يخرب عليه من ناحيه الواتش تايم، طز في الواتش تايم. انت عليك لما تيجي تتابع ملخص احطها في النهايه ولا ما له داعي بس. الناس يقولون بتاثر على قناتك. انا عارف بتاثر على الواتش تايم، يعني المقطع مدة 3 ساعات الواتش تايم بيجي نص المقطع. ليه؟ بسبة انه نص او ربع المقطع في النهايه فيك. كمل عليه خلاص.
Kayak, he's in a lot of trouble. He looked to be in a lot of trouble. In fact, he'll take down 2 before he falls. The ults online for Fnatic in the next are looking deadly for RRQ. No need to give them even more, especially with
أجل عيال بقول لك شغلة اللي يتابع المقطع، اللي يتابع الملخص ولا يدري ايش صار كم النتيجة، أول يشوف مثل المقطع ساعة ونص ساعة و40 هو ما يدري 2-0 3-0. بس إذا خلصت الجيم الأول لا تشوف الوقت، تقدر أن تمنع نفسك، لا تشوف الوقت، عرفت؟ خلاص تابعه كامل. ولا إذا جيت تسوي سبيس توقفه لا تطالع في الوقت. فهمت؟ شوف هذا ينادي.
Hello, look at me again, bro. Oh, he's not. He gets scared.
He also has headphones on.
هذا اللي يسوي بس خلاص تبع الأسلوب.
It would be worrying if he looked over.
I don't think he could hear you, but I appreciate it.
تقرش منيت هلو.
Clearly feeling it. Well, this time Monette's revenge hasn't really looked like it's taken its toll.
7 شكله 2-0 إلى الآن ما في ولا جيم جاء 2-1 صح؟ ولا جيم جاء 2-1 اللي يمكن جيم اي جيم هو ثاني يوم ولا اول يوم ولا في جيم الا في جيم واحد كأنه في جيم واحد بس اللي جاء 2-1.
Well, that is a deep play. The Rolling Thunder catching it for the mid split. The next Pharaoh able to survive inside his cage, at least for now. Hunter's Fury not finding its mark. Pressure applied as Jenkins rotates, cut off.
يا عيال باستر كيف قاعد؟
This guy's off to a flying start, and it looks like soon to be a finish for the attacking side. A 4th denied, but Chronicles there for the trade. 12-7.
12-7 مات سنتينل وجاينت. الباقي كله 2-0 تي 1 2-0 ما في الا جيم واحد بس. مين يحسب نفسه استرا؟ يعني اني شلبي يا ولد علمت اكبر.
Blown in towards him because they're so worried of the players coming in front. That is a gorgeous set play from the side of Fnatic. And while we spoke about the fact that this needed to be the resurgence, there looks like there is no resurgence to be had. This attack side from Fnatic has been flawless.
Not a bump on the road so far. Remember, this is RRQ's pick and
لا ماني بحاط وقت زيادة في المقاطع اللي في اليوتيوب يعني. زي ما هو اللي ما يبغى يحرق على نفسه لا يشوف الوقت، يبدا المقطع ولا عاد يوقف. اذا جاي يوقف لا يشوف الوقت، تشوف الوقت عاد انت نفس اللي يشوف مسلسل وفيلم ويعرف متى بيخلص. فكرت فيها صدق بتاثر على الواتش تايم مره عندي. يلا ركز 12-7 نشوف ايش بيسوي فينا. واو كاياك الحين معهم استرالت قلت بوستر بتلت ولا بيخلي بوست؟ والله بيخلي بوست. طب هو باك سايد يمكن يذبح.
They now will be, or at least the first one. If anybody's jumping across, Boaster could go flying off the map, but it may not even matter in the end.
والله بيأجله بوستر. بوستر ذبح يا ولد. بوستر إذا لعب أستر يتحول 180 درجة أو بدون ما يلت. توب فراق يا عيال. كيف 2-0 للتيم فنتك. طيب صلوا على النبي، يقولوا لا الله. كلام مهم. النقطة الأولى الأساسية تكلمنا عنها، خلصنا قبل يوم. النقطة الأولى تكلمنا عنها اللي هو الملخص متى بيكون، واضح عندكم. النقطة الثانية بكرة ما في مباريات. طب بتبثي أبو خالد تلعب؟ لا، أبو خالد بيرتاح. حلو. بكرة اللي هو يوم 16 يوم الثلاثاء. حلوين. بكرة أوف. حلو. بكرة ارتاح. يوم 17 عندنا جيمين، مجموعة جروب A وجروب B. بنشوف الوينر براكت أو الوينرز، اللي يعني باختصار يوم 17 اللي بيفوز بيتأهل للبلاي أوفس، اللي بيخسر ما يطلع، ينزل فرصة أخيرة، لأنه ردهم كلهم فايزين، ما عندهم خسائر في سجلهم، اللي هم بيركس وجاينتكس. 4 هذا الساعة 4. وبعدين فناتك MIBR وفناتك. بعدين يوم 18 بنرجع للطحن، مو الطحن، خلني أسميه نهائيات مبكرة. يمكن إنرجي دياركس ما تشوفها نهائي، بس أنا أشوفها نهائي. أنا لأني تعرفوني مطبل كبير لدياركس، لكن اللي صدق نهائي أنا أتوقع T1 وتيم هيرتكس بيكون حماس، اللي هو يوم 18. حلوين. بعدين بنرجع بيوم 19 اللي هو يوم الأربعاء إن شاء الله، بنشوف سنتينل. هنا الأربعاء بيكون أحمس من ناحية ليش؟ لأن الخسران بيودع. بنشوف سنتينل ضد اكسل جي الساعة 4 العصر، ومع بي ال جي ضد RRQ. يوم 20 ليكويد وإي دي جي ضد G2 دراغون، وذولا يعتبرون لور براكت، يعني الخسران يطلع. يعني باختصار بكرة أوف. اليوم اللي بعده بنقابل الوينر براكت، يعني اللي هو يوم 17 اللي يلعبون ما يطلعون، اللي يخسرون ما يطلعون، ويوم 18 اللي يخسرون ما يطلعون، 19 و20 اللي يخسرون يطلعون، وكذا. بعدين يبقى يوم 21 بنشوف من الفايز، و22 بعدين أوف يومين اللي بنقسم ال 17 18 19 20 21 22 6 أيام ورا بعض. بعد البريك يوم 16 لا 5 أيام 18 20 21 6 أيام جلد عادي ورا بعض، بس بنفس الوقت. الظاهر ان الستيج بيتغير في البلاي اوف، الأوقات كم 4-7 نفس الشيء. يعني انا ممكن ارشح صراحة من هنا BRX، ممكن سنتينل ياخذ ثارة من جاينت ترى يفوز على اكسل جي، ما ندري. يا اخي اقسم بالله بعض الوراعين ما ينعطون مواتر، اقسم بالله. ورع يجيك يفحط ولا يحرق كفرات في حارة ويزعج الشيبان ويزعج الخلق الله. اقسم بالله بعض الناس حرام فيه، مو بموتر جنط ما تعطيه جنط كثير عليه بعد. يعني آمنا فيك دودة وفيك تبغى تشم كفر، روح برحة، روح مكان فاضي، روح مخطط. لا أبغى أزعج الناس يلد. على العموم نسيت ايش بقول، الله يلعن ام الشغله. خلاص ايوه BRX من هنا، واتوقع سنتينل بيتأهل. اتوقع جروب بي فناتك MIBR، مستوى MIBR فنان. من هنا صعبه. هنا انا اشوف ليكويد بيتأهل، بطير في العجه وبقول DRX. اصبر، تبغى تاخذ العلم من عندي ولا حد فيكم يتقروش؟ تسمحوا لي، ذا الفريق دائما يجحفل. بالله صوروا او سجلوا الكلام اللي بقوله. جروب دي بيتأهل T1 وG2. فلسفة. كيفني بالله وانا اتفلسف زي وجهي صح؟